and welcome to a new episode of the Blue Mouse Podcast. My name's Emily. I'm the full-time knitwear designer behind the Blue Mouse. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry under that same name. And yeah, this is a knitting podcast with a little bit of focus on knitwear design because that is what I do full-time. I really want to thank you guys so much for all the support on the last podcast. It was really a fun thing to see and to chat with you guys in the comments, so thank you so much. And for your support of my new idea to kind of do video chats with you guys every once in a while and answer any pattern designing questions. So we're going to do our first one of those this Saturday. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it below, so please check it out. It's only 5 minutes long, and I'd love to have as many of you as possible enter to be able to do that this Saturday. I know it's short notice, but I won't have time for a couple of weeks, and I really wanted to make good on that idea without just leaving a few weeks of a break. So yeah, I don't have as much to share with you as I did last week. Last week was a major catch-up week, but I did finish the body of that sweater I was showing you last week. And don't get too attached because I am actually ripping it out to restart it, and I'll explain why in a minute. So I finished the body of it, and yeah, I really am very happy with it. But I am also reworking the pattern just a little bit, as just kind of like tweaking some things, and so I wanted to kind of redo it. It's only slightly different. I don't think the yoke is different at all, so maybe I'll just rip back to the bottom of the yoke. I'll have to figure that out. I don't think the yoke is different at all, but the cast on amount for underneath the sleeves I think is different. I need to finish doing the math and the charts before I rip it out. I almost ripped it out yesterday, but the more I think about it, I have to double check that I'm actually changing things before I rip it out, because I may not be, and then I just have to restart for no reason. So I am happy with it, and I love the texture and the way that it looks carried all the way through the body. So I'm really excited to get this one done for you guys. So I am working currently on charting all of the yoke pieces, so it's done seamlessly, but I'm charting out what each sleeve and each body section will look like. So if people like charts, they'll have those to refer to. And maybe that can help people visualize what I mean when I say, increasing in those inner markers like I was talking about last week, because I still am planning on doing that for this sweater. So yeah, I'm not very good at charting. It's something I have just recently started to try and learn. I have a charting program. I have Stitch Mastery, and it's a little bit fiddly to figure out. I've been having to go back to the user manual and kind of read through it. And I am starting to get the hang of it, I think. It's definitely something that my brain is not really wired towards just yet, but I've noticed it's gotten easier as I've started to work on it recently. So hopefully, in 6 months to a year, I'll find them very easy. But I'm really enjoying it. It is something that is also good for double checking your math, because you can count all the stitches and see it kind of visually all there and double check that everything is correct. So I'm hoping to have those done before I send it to my editor, and yeah, hopefully there won't be very many mistakes. But that is my goal for this weekend, is to finish all those charts and to have the pattern done so I can send it to my editor, and that will hopefully be able to be done. I'm also trying to do a lot of sewing this weekend because we're going on vacation a week from tomorrow, and I would like some fun new things to wear. And speaking of that, I actually made this shirt that I'm wearing. I finished this the other night. If you follow me on Instagram, you see me post about this kind of stuff all the time, but I stayed up to a really stupid hour at night to finish this. I was at my parents' where the sewing machine is, and I was up to 2:30 finishing it because I was so close, and I really wanted to finish it. I finished my wearable muslin a few hours before, and then decided to just go ahead and cut out the actual pattern pieces, which were much easier to cut out because it's a linen fabric, so it's really stiff, and it didn't move when I was cutting it, unlike the wearable muslin, which is made out of rayon, so it was shifting all over the place as I was trying to cut it. So it was a very easy pattern. It's called the All Well box top pattern, And it looks much better in the rayon fabric version that I made because it drapes and it falls, and this is a pretty stiff and rigid linen, so it's not like it just falls. So you can definitely see that it's big on me. This pattern is big on me. Like my waist is here and you've got some major positive ease on both sides. It's very comfortable, and I think with lots of washing it will soften up. It's kind of the same thing that happens with linen yarn as well, is that the more you wash it, the softer it gets, which is kind of nice. It's not really going to start pilling after a lot of wears. It's actually going to start getting a lot softer, and the drape is going to become even better. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll definitely take a while to get there, but I'm happy with this pattern. I hacked the sleeves a little bit because in the pattern I found the wrist to be really close fitting, and it was almost hard to get my hand like through the arm opening. So I like cut a slit like here, kind of cut like diagonally, and then folded it over and rolled it up a little bit because it was originally supposed to be like here, and I cropped it to make it 3/4 length sleeves and to make it a little bit wider. So yeah, it was a very fun make, very fast, very easy, but I think definitely I'll have to fix the pattern pieces that I cut out for the wrist because they're just a little too narrow for me. I'll have to make them a little bit wider. Everything else about the pattern I enjoyed, and it was very easy to follow. So I'll definitely be making more of those in the future, I think, because it's a very classic staple part of your wardrobe. Like the piece just goes with everything, and not this one in particular because this has a pattern on it, but the other one I made is just a solid black color, so it will go with everything. And yeah, I'm not going to share a whole lot about my like sewing makes like every time, but I probably will share with you when I've made things because I'm really enjoying it, and it's nice to have a creative outlet outside of pattern designing. It's something that I didn't used to have or know the value of until just recently, but it's really, really nice if what you do for a living is creative to also have something on the side that doesn't make you any money, there's no stakes in it, that you can do just for fun. And that's what sewing is for me. Knitting is my job and I love it so much, but there's also, you know, a little bit of pressure that comes with it because you have to keep producing for work and you have to keep coming up with new ideas, and it has to be perfect, or eventually it has to be perfect, you know, after it's gone through many phases. But sewing is something that I am just learning how to do, and there's no pressure in it. I'm actually, you know, losing money by spending money on fabric. And so it's just an enjoyable thing, and I'm really, really liking it. It's nice because I actually think that it makes me more creative in my knitting work as well, because I'm able to be creative with no stakes on the side. That gives me more creativity to use for work, and I've noticed that kind of translate over. So that has been really fun, and I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm gonna go over to my parents and sew a lot. So I actually got some really heavyweight canvas, and I'm going to go sew a couple really big like weekender bags for me and also for my mom, and I'm going to gift it to her before we go to the beach next week. I thought that would be fun. It's like a way that we can carry all of our stuff down from the house down to the beach, and I can keep all my knitting in it and everything, and it'll definitely be a challenge to sew with such like thick fabric, but I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, that'll be fun. And I've also got a few like garment things that I would love to make before the weekend is over, which I know is ambitious, but I'm gonna try and make a couple of dresses and maybe even draft a pattern for a jumpsuit, because I have fabric for all of that and I wanted to make it before the beach. And as it usually does, vacation just kind of creeps up on you and it's here before you know it. You don't have as much time. So I'm going to try and get done as much as I can. I'll probably be over there every evening this weekend. I'm going to work today and finish some charts and check some things. And then Johnny and I will have date night, and I think he's got band practice at around 8, and then I'll go up and start sewing at my parents' probably for the rest of the evening, get home late, and then we'll have that chat tomorrow with a few of you, which I'm excited. I'm gonna announce the winners tonight of who gets to do that chat. I'm really excited to hear the questions that you have about pattern designing and to hopefully be able to answer them and have a really fun conversation about it. Someone suggested a program where you can have like a conference call with people and you can record it. So I'm hoping that that works, because the screen recording on the computer I would use is kind of iffy. I've done it a few times and it's just disappeared, completely deleted and corrupted. So I'm happy to be able to use a program that will do it versus the way I was doing it before. So it's going to be a really fun weekend. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, I'm also, another thing I'm working on, which I showed you last time, is a pair of socks in the same stitch pattern that I'm using for that sweater. So this is what I have so far of the socks. And I'm doing just kind of a slip stitch heel, and I made it way too long, so I'm actually going to rip back to before the heel flap. So here's the heel flap. And it doesn't fit like it's too big, but I think it is just too big. I was trying to figure out, okay, how long is a typical heel flap, and I couldn't really find a whole lot of like consensus on it. Typically it seems to be between 2 and 3 inches, but people differ on if 2 is a small heel flap or if 2 is an average heel flap. So I'm thinking 2 might be more of an average heel flap, because this is 2.5 inches and it just seems too tall. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna do a 2-inch heel flap in my pattern, and then I will tell people if you want it shorter or taller. That's a preferential thing, but the pattern will be written for a 2-inch heel flap. And then I have a little heel turn, which is like a triangle shape, which I really like this fit. It's a little bit harder to write than the square heel toe, the square heel like turn, and I like the fit of it better, but it's a little bit harder to write. Not too bad though. So that will probably have to wait until maybe Monday or Tuesday after I finish the sweater, because I really want to get that finished before anything else and get that out to my editor, and then the sock can go second. So yeah, I'm trying to get that done before we leave on vacation, and we're actually going up to Cleveland for a night next week because I have an appointment with a specialist in Cleveland to hopefully figure out the chronic pain issue I've been having. So we'll be a little bit busy with that, and we're gonna kind of make a day of it and go to dinner and maybe find a cool ice cream place up there, and then go to the appointment the next morning and then head home. And then I have another specialist appointment with someone actually in town a few days later. So it'll be kind of busy with that, and depending on the results I get from people, like how helpful the doctors are and how kind they are, I don't know kind of what mental state I'll be in. The last time I had an appointment where the doctor was basically like, good luck, I don't know. I was pretty depressed all week, and so I expect that if I don't get any helpful information from either doctor, that I'm going to be in a pretty terrible mental state. So we'll see if I'll even record a podcast next week. I hope so, but if I'm not feeling great, I probably won't, and I'll just go on vacation and kind of relax and enjoy that. So yeah, another thing I started last night actually, because both of those projects I just showed you are kind of stalled and I can't just sit and knit on them, and I needed something last night for home group to go ahead and just knit on. So I just brought a couple scrap balls of yarn that I have, and they actually go really well together. I wasn't really thinking about it, I just had like a minute to pick them out. And so I'm making another pair of Craggy Shore socks. And so here we go. I'm actually slightly modifying it. So the ribbing is twisted rib, kind of twisted rib, where I twist the knits but I purl the purls normally. And then I started the pattern in a different color. And I'm actually really liking the way that they go together, because there's a little bit of green in the pink speckled colorway, and they just actually really blend perfectly together. I love this pattern. I love kind of like the wavy lines of knit stitches that come from the stitch pattern. I'm very excited about it. So this is my third pair, I think, and I'm definitely planning to make another for a friend of mine. So this pattern is addictive for me. I really, really like it. So the cuff colorway that I'm using is Lane and Lotus fibers. I'll link it below. And I'm not going to be able to remember the colorway, but I'll try and put it below. And then I don't remember what this colorway is called off the top of my head. I got this at a fiber fair in town, like a small one, a little over a year ago, and I made my mom a cowl, like the Birds and Ships cowl by Caitlin Hunter, in this colorway, and gifted it to her for Christmas. So I actually have a sizable amount left over. I feel like this is about 50 grams. So I should have no trouble making a full pair of socks out of these, because I think I'll use the green to, do heels, toes, and cuffs, which I don't usually do because I don't like to weave in all the ends. But I think it looks kind of fun, and I like the way that the colors blend together, so I'll probably do that for this pair of socks. But yeah, that's mainly what I had to share with you guys. It was kind of a jumbled episode of mixing in personal life with knitting, but I think that's probably going to be the format from here on anyway. So yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'm really excited to sit and chat with a few of you tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow at noon, and then I'm going to really try and record it and put it out so that anyone interested in what we talk about can watch it. I hope it's not too, awkward. I'm kind of a shy and awkward person, so we'll see how it goes with a group of people. I'm very excited to meet you guys and to see who you are and hear your questions, and yeah, that should be very fun, and I'm looking forward to sewing tonight, which will be fantastic. But I've got to go get back and finish those charts so that I can get that pattern finished. I'm really excited about it, and I hope that you are too. I just noticed the time. I feel like I've been talking for like 40 minutes, and I think it says 16 minutes, but have a great weekend. I hope you get lots of knitting time or time outside if that's what you're interested in. The weather here has been fantastic, so I'm hoping it stays this fall temperature for a little while. And the beach that we're going to just narrowly missed the hurricane, or was narrowly missed by the hurricane. So I think it's okay. Last year we went to the same beach, and that's actually where Johnny and I got engaged. And like 2 weeks before we went in October, so about this time actually, another hurricane hit and completely flooded the island, and like it was closed for like a week and a half. It opened maybe 2 days before we left, and everything down there was pretty flooded. So I'm really hoping that this one is not as bad. I don't think the hurricane really hit. We were looking at like the beach cam that they have, and everything looks pretty much normal. So hoping it's good. But I'm very excited to go just sit on the beach and knit. And that's why I want to get these projects done, so that I can have some fresh things to work on while I'm there, and some things to just fully knit through. I'm hoping to do a worsted weight Lofoten while I'm there, because that'll be coming out this fall as soon as I get started on it. So anyway, I got sidetracked. Have a great weekend. I hope to see you in the next episode, either next week or in like 3 weeks. But yeah, have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.